Welcome to the Small Actions, Big Ripples podcast, where we celebrate the achievements of individuals whose small, intentional actions create waves of positive change for the benefit of the community or the planet. I'm thrilled to welcome to this very special episode Adam from Adam's Acre, a gardening service with a difference. Adam, welcome and good morning to you.
Good morning, Stavros. Thank you for having me.
How was your morning so
Very
far?
good so far. I've enjoyed the sunshine and the journey over. It's been great.
It is lovely out there, isn't it? And you've brought your lovely little puppies who are outside at the moment in the garden enjoying the sunshine and a few little treats.
Indeed.
We're going to talk about your little dogs in just a moment. But just to start with, could you please tell us a little bit more about yourself and like the background of your story, your business journey, and what inspired you to start Adam's Acre?
Thank you. Well, I came over to the UK in December 2020 and like it here, so I've decided to stay and make a life here. I have taught for nearly 30 years, and a lot of that time I was a special educational needs coordinator in mainstream secondary schools, but I've also worked in special schools and was a deputy head teacher for a time. And I got to the point where I decided I'd like to do something different. So I looked into setting up a horticultural charity to support people with mental health difficulties or recovering from mental illness. But we faced some challenges with trying to get that off the ground. So I decided I'd take a different tact and set up my own business and see where that took me. So we've been going for a little time now and I enjoy it thoroughly.
Fantastic. So what does your work involve on a day-to-day basis? What do you go out there and do? Who do you meet when you go out there?
I meet some amazing people, actually. Each person has got their own story and their own relationship with their own garden. So I have to listen very carefully and get a feel for what it is that they actually want and what's important to them. So my customer base is interesting. It's a range of different people. Some people are retired people that just need a little bit of help in the garden. To get on top of things so that they can go and get on with it themselves to a certain extent. Or some people have got mobility issues and need more access to their garden. Mm-hmm. I work with professional people that have little time to devote to the gardens, so to help them make the most of the time that they have in their garden. I also work with landlords trying to get properties up to scratch so they can be either sold or to be let out to other tenants so that they're in a good condition. So they're the kind of clients I have. In terms of the work, it's very varied and I enjoy that about the job. So for example, I've been hedge cutting recently, tree trimming, lawn mowing, lawn care, looking after borders. There's a whole range of different things I do. And I also do other things like take away green waste. I also do a bit of cleaning and pressure washing as well.
Never a dull day from the sounds of it.
No, not at all.
That's amazing. That keeps you busy, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Now, when you go out there, and I've just met your lovely four-legged friends, but when you go out there in your jobs, you're never alone because you take your two lovely dogs with you, your companions. Could you tell us a little bit more about them and what is their special relationship and your special relationship with them, and how important are they to some of your clients?
Thank you very much. Well, the puppies are 14 months old. They're called Milo and Otis, and they go with me everywhere. They're important because they're good company. A lot of the work I do is on my own, so that they are great company. And I think the other part of it is they are good for my clients. Most of the clients adore them, which is great. But they also have a practical role as well within the business. And that is some of the clients have got challenges. Some are very lonely. So to have the puppies around makes a big difference. I have a client who's got dementia, and for her, just spending some time with the puppies is really important. So that has made a difference to her, and it makes a difference to my other clients. I have another client who's in her late 80s, and she's always had cats. So she was a bit nervous about meeting the puppies, but now that she enjoys spending time with them and loves to have them around. But there's two other things that come to mind. One is that a friend of mine has a brother who has got significant learning difficulties, and he is in a residential home, a small residential home in the community. And she asked me if I'd bring the puppies along to meet him, which I did. But what was interesting was the profound effect that they had on two of the other clients or residents of that home, one of which was 80, and she just loved the dogs, and you could see the joy in her face. So it was amazing. And another client or resident there was visually impaired. She was also in a wheelchair and had very limited language, and she found human contact very difficult. Possibly because she was anxious, because she didn't know where people were when they were talking to her a lot of the time. But she tolerated the dogs, and she tolerated me, which was really positive, to the point where when I explained to her that we were going, she grabbed my hand and kissed it, and that was amazing. And my friend who had arranged this said that she had known this lady for over 50 years and had never seen her interact like that. So from that, I thought, I've got to do something with the dogs that's positive. And so now the three of us, so Milo, Otis and myself, volunteer at Compton Hospice. So that's really important to me. And again, it's an opportunity to give something to the community and make a difference in people's lives, even if it's a small difference.
Sounds like it's part of your mission, part of your purpose. You being out there is not just a basic gardening service, but you provide service for the community of people who need it most. So in this short time that you've been running, is it a special achievement or something that makes you particularly proud for what you've achieved so far?
I think there's two things. One is having the courage to leave something that I'd known in terms of my career for such a long time, to decide to venture out and do something different. But also, one of my clients, again, who's in her late 80s, found that she'd had a hard time. Her husband had died during COVID. She'd had a stroke during COVID. So things are very difficult, and therefore she hadn't got into her garden. But after discussion with her children, she asked me if I'd come in and help sort her garden out and get it under control, which I did. And also part of that was reclaiming her greenhouse. And so two things happened. One is when she saw what I'd done with the greenhouse, I thought she was going to cry because she was so happy that she could get back out into the garden. I think it was something that her and her husband had done for many years, gardening, and they created the garden themselves out of nothing. And the other thing is she decided she'd get out and plant some flowers herself. So I thought that was amazing because she has got mobility issues, but she had the confidence to get back out and get on with it and enjoy her own garden. So that was really positive.
It's so heartwarming to witness positive changes in people like this, just as a result of what you're doing in your connection. And obviously, I reckon because of your teaching background and being in education, you're a very empathetic person.
Thank you.
And that kind of sense of increased empathy that you have with other people, they must feel it just as you do. So well done. Thank you for sharing that story. Very special.
You're welcome.
Very special. So what continues to motivate you to do what you are doing?
I think one of the things I enjoy being outside. I enjoy doing physical work. I had a very academic job for many years. So to do something different is good. But there's also there's still a lot of problem solving in what I do. So it's a balance, I suppose, is part of that. And just another thing is that the key principle of my work really is the golden rule about treating others as I'd like to be treated. And I think that's the core value of my business in terms of if I want someone to do something for me, if I employ a tradesperson, then I want them to do the best job they can as effectively and as well as possible, and that I feel at the end of the day I've got good value for money. So that's the principle I have for my business.
Looking into the future.
Yes.
What does the future hold for Adam's Acre? Have you got any special plans? Are there any projects maybe in the pipeline? Yeah, anything that is special that you've got coming up?
Well, it's as you've discussed with me, it's the business is sort of in its infancy to a certain extent. I've got lots of ideas, and one of which is because now I've got a link with Compton Hospice and the dogs. With the dogs, I would like to do some fundraising for them. I'd also like to have the opportunity to expand the business at some point, but that needs to be done very carefully and very thoughtfully in terms of the best way to do that. For example, there is a young person in my local community who I'd like to give some work to, but I've got to make sure that is going to be in his best interest, and that I need to be in a financial position where I can offer him something on a more permanent basis rather than on an ad hoc basis. So that's something that I would like to do. And like I said, I'd like to expand the business further. Maybe take on staff in the future, because at the moment it's myself and the dogs.
It can be hard work and long days.
Indeed. But I enjoy it.
Satisfying, of course.
And I think, I don't mind working long days and doing hard work. I think that it's good for my mental and physical health, the work that I do. So I don't mind it at all. I thoroughly enjoy it.
Well, best of luck with your future plans.
Thank you.
I hope everything goes well and to plan. What advice would you give to somebody who wants to start a business, perhaps similar to yours, and they want to make a positive impact to the local community or help other people? Are there any tips?
Sure. I think one of the things is talk to lots of people. There's lots of people, obviously, that run their own businesses who've got lots of experience, and you can hopefully avoid some mistakes by learning from other people's mistakes, I think is one of the things. And the other thing is, I would say, never be afraid to ask. And for example, the support I've received from South Staffordshire District Council in terms of accessing training and funding for some equipment has made a huge difference to my business. So, I always think you've just got to ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. So it's always worth asking lots of questions.
Great to know. Thank you. I'm sure some of our listeners will appreciate those tips. Now we are coming near to the end of our podcast. I know you've already said that before your gardening business, you were in education, but is there another little surprising fact that perhaps you could share with our listeners, something that would surprise perhaps even people that know you?
Oh, fair enough. Well, I used to play cricket for many years, and I enjoyed that. But I found that as I got older, I was getting more injured and took more time to recover. So I decided, after hearing a bit about yoga, to try yoga. So I've been doing yoga for probably 10 years now. And more recently, I've been able to do a headstand for over a minute, so I thought that was quite good. It also helps that just over 12 months ago, I achieved a weight loss of 4 stone, so I think the two are related.
That's impressive. I tried yoga at some point, and I want to get back to it. It's so good for your mind and body.
Absolutely.
No, well done. Keep at it.
Thank you.
Well, that's a wrap for this episode of the Small Actions, Big Ripples podcast. Thank you to my guest, Adam Elshaw, for sharing his inspiring journey. If you enjoyed this conversation, look out for future episodes and more inspiring stories of people like Adam who are driven by their passion and commitment to creating social impact. Until next time, keep taking those small actions. You just never know how far your ripples will reach. Until next time, cheerio, and thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.